Hi guys, and welcome to Tailored Talk. This is the Anthony Padilla interview with Kris Tyson, who's a member of MrBeast, and this is her talking about her transgender journey and the media's reaction to it. So let's take a look at part 2.
I was such a forward-facing person that any kind of changes were instantly going to drum up questions. And so, like, for me, that's why I was so glad that even though I had, during this time when I put out that I was on HRT, I was very sure I was a trans woman. I was not ready to come publicly out yet. So I was very happy that, like, people were encompassing me into the gender fluid, because that is what I had identified as a while, and that gave me that ability to dress more feminine and people not be like,
I wonder, when did she have the leap from gender fluid to trans woman?
are you a girl or what's your gender?
Yeah. I mean, do you feel like old Kris is dead?
Dead. Gone.
Dead, buried, hatchet?
Wow, I wonder how his family and friends feel hearing that.
All of it
Gone.
I mean, you still have the reminders through the videos that will be permanently online for the rest of eternity.
That's what I say to people who are like, but I miss the old Kris and I looked up to you. Hey, go watch the videos, they'll be there forever.
Was it more difficult for you to come out to yourself?
You can still look up to her. If you looked up to Kris as a man, you can look up to Kris as a woman. Like, inside, Kris is still Kris.
Or to others?
Myself. Far more. Once I came out to myself, I came out to myself with my therapist. And it took like 3 therapy sessions where I was like, I've known this for a long time. I'm pretty sure. And then I was, I know and then I was like, I am a woman. And it was hard for me to say that because I was so scared of saying I am a woman and then instantly hearing, no, you're not. Because in my head, I fought with that every day.
That's the conversation you were having with yourself.
There was a voice in the back of my head that just hated me. Everything I did hated me. And it wasn't until like I started accepting
A lot of self-hatred there.
myself and being kind to others and like just listening to what my body wanted, like that's when that voice started going away. Started taking HRT. Haven't heard from that voice in a very long time.
Where do you think that part of you has gone?
I hope it's locked away.
Maybe it died. Hopefully.
Do you think it's disappeared entirely?
That hurt. That little piece of me.
Hands up.
Cannot
This seems like a super cool film.
go for more than 90 seconds.
What happens after?
You must feel like you have so much more like access to your whole self without that part of you shutting you down constantly.
That's a good way of describing it.
I literally had people within the first like couple of months of like me coming out to like private like friends and like my therapist starting HRT, they were like, you've just been talking so much more and you just seem so much more present in the conversation. And I was noticing that myself too, because like I would get done with conversations and be like, why does my jaw hurt so bad?
Oh, I was talking and smiling?
I was talking and smiling. I haven't done that in a while.
I mean,
And people were just like, wow.
even now, I feel like people who have watched you for a long time will see that change in you wanting to express your thoughts, wanting to express your emotions.
It doesn't matter now if I want to express them or not. They just freely come out of me because I don't suppress them anymore. And that is what's truly the best part of it, is that I can just like, what comes out of my mouth is me now. And it's nobody else influencing me. It's nobody telling me I have to be this person. It's me coming out.
Do you remember the first time that you looked at yourself and you were like, that is me, I'm not ashamed of that anymore?
I did. I was actually heading to the studio to go film, and I was driving my car and I had something in my eye and I pulled down my mirror and I just looked at myself, and for the first time it like hit me that I was like, I'm looking.
I mean, his bone structure, her bone structure is fantastic.
Like myself, and I just started crying while driving.
Sorry guys about the pronouns. It's just for a while, she was like you know, he, him, it doesn't matter, but it does matter.
I had to pull over.
Yeah, you're like this looks like how
She's officially she, her. I do know that.
I feel,
Yeah.
how I see myself in my dreams.
Yeah, and I've had so many moments leading up to them. Like even when I went dress shopping today, I accidentally cried a little bit because I put on this dress and I was like, oh my god, I love this.
I feel like, you know, whether anyone watching is trans or not, like there's it's such a relatable feeling to want to be a truer version of yourself and
Yeah.
to run away from that for a certain amount of time for any reason.
Yeah.
How does it feel, you know, like you're constantly finding all these things that make you feel more and more true to yourself.
I've always been myself. I'm now taking steps to make sure I'm the like best and happiest version, because there was a point in my life where, and a lot of people thought that was the best version of me, because
And of course, being the best version, you know, she can now be the best parent for her son as well,
that's the only thing
which is what really matters.
they had ever seen Kris from MrBeast. But I was very unhappy and I was tired and I was miserable. And now I'm like, I wake up every day and I'm like, what are we doing today? I wake up at 7:30. I used to wake up at 11:30 every single day.
You wake
Wow, that's pretty late.
up with excitement.
I wake up with excitement. I'm like, what are we doing today? What's going on?
Like you get to live life
Yeah,
now.
another day of being trans. That for me, it's like the best thing.
Why do you think the news of you taking HRT and
I mean, because Kris was very open about it. She didn't keep it a secret. Like, she was posting her nails and, you know, celebrating HRT. So really, the trans coming out, it shouldn't have been like a complete shock to anybody, because she did document it on social media.
you looking more feminine? Why do you think it went so viral?
Because it's a really hot button issue right now.
And people are so used to seeing Kris as male that it must have been a shock to her fans. Plus, she's on very popular YouTubers, one of the most popular YouTubers on the platform. So everything they do is going to be looked at and picked apart, unfortunately.
There's a lot of people putting in their 2 cents about it, and then I think what really like made a lot of people focus on it was that I'm just living my life. I'm not saying anything or doing anything. I'm just, hey, I'm on HRT. I'm a lot happier now. And
Yeah, Kris is not going down the political route. She's not going down the solo route. She's not like actually causing any controversy. She's just being herself, I think.
I think that, in my opinion, a lot of people were like, no, we can't have somebody this successful and this like happy being on HRT. It's bad optics. So, I mean, if that's the reason, maybe it was just general trans folks.
Sorry about the volume, guys. I know the volume's quite bad. I've got this up to the max. Let me take a look. Yep, up to the max. So I apologise about the volume.
Maybe they just don't like me.
Oh.
Maybe they're not Kris fans. They might be big Nolan fans.
So you're not taking it too personally though?
Nah, I know that at the end of the day, like, even the people that are writing these like crazy articles about me are probably just, you know, normal people that are going home to see their wife and kids or whatever. They're doing their jobs. I'm doing my job. But that's why I wanted to come to your show, to be able to get a hold of my narrative again.
Right, because you lost control of that narrative.
Complete control.
Everyone had an opinion that had nothing to do with what your actual thoughts were.
I know. Apparently, I sued people. I did it.
Our lives are being improved, and we're beginning to understand a deeper relation.
It's just weird how the media just make stuff up.
Where did that come from?
And somebody made a joke, and they were like, they faked the DM, and they were like, Kris is suing me. And then I quote tweeted it, and I was like, you better be ready. This is my lawyer. And it was a picture of Jimmy with like sideways sunglasses, and people took that as serious.
There's real life consequences to false things being made up about you.
Yeah.
Then you have people making YouTube videos saying that your decision to be yourself and to openly be yourself is destroying MrBeast, and it's gonna
Sunny V2, they're talking about you. Sunny V2. The backlash for Sunny V2. So Sunny V2, so Sierra uniform November Yankee Victor 2. Sunny V2, the backlash he got was so bad he changed the title. It was like, first of all, it was like, why Kris is going to be a nightmare for MrBeast. It got so much backlash, and then it changed to something simple like, this is the Kris Tyson situation. Sunny V2, they're calling you out right here.
Mess up the business, and you should have thought about that.
I should have thought about that. That's all.
How dare you ruin the business by being your true self?
How dare you exist? It was kind of weird to see people be like, oh, now Jimmy's put in between a rock and a hard place where he obviously doesn't want to support Kris, but the left would be so mad if he didn't. And I'm like, all these speculation, all these crazy things. I told Jimmy like 7 years ago, I walked out of my bedroom. It was late. I walked out and it was kind of one of those, and then he was like, we don't have to talk about it if you don't want to talk about it.
Wait, what was it that gave it away?
Was fully dressed up.
Oh, so you were dressing up as a woman long before.
We lived. Oh, I've been dressing up as a woman since I was like 6 years old.
Okay, so MrBeast knew, has known for a very long time. Sunny V2, I hope you're watching this. You know, I dread to think about your reaction if somebody you love comes out as LGBT. I dread to think.
Oh.
I guess dressing up as a girl. Now I dress up as a woman.
Yes, but you walked out. Jimmy sees you.
Yes.
Dressed up as a woman.
Yes.
And
he goes, we can talk about this if you want. And I was like, no. And we didn't.
Did you turn around and go into your room?
I did. And we didn't talk about it. Jimmy is really good about, if you don't want him to bring something up, he'll never mention it ever again. But it was about 3 years ago. We were all hanging out and we were having a good time. You know, on the channel, we like to say we're having some apple juice, you know, just drinking some good apple juice.
Drinking some apple juice.
And there was one moment I was sitting around all the guys and I had just been really like thinking all that day about like my gender and everything. And combined with the apple juice, I just blurted out to them, I don't want to be a man anymore.
Just out of nowhere?
The apple juice set Kris off. The apple juice was the truth syrup. That set Kris free.
In front of all of them, and then started like crying. And the support I got from them in that moment was like, that's when I knew I was like, okay, like I have my friends back, like everybody else. Like that's all I need.
You had the support from your core group.
Yeah. They're really like my family.
Do you remember just like what it felt like to have that out there?
To feel like I'm lying to like my best friends. We know everything about each other. Like, and I'm like, this is a huge part of me and I want to tell them, but I'm even so scared to tell them. Like, even when I used to try to form the words, I would just lock up and couldn't talk about it because I was so terrified to like out myself.
Yeah, because there's so many things that you consider to be negative that would come out of that.
Yeah, and now I realize that was all internalized transphobia. My friends would have accepted me. I probably could have gotten through the process a little faster.
Yeah.
But everybody grows at their own pace and becomes themselves when they do.
I mean,
In their own time.
You see all these comments on the internet, and no matter how many positive ones that are there, you're
just fly by.
The positive ones
don't exist.
But then the negative ones, I think it's because there's a little bit of fear attached to the implications or what else they might be thinking. Like those things sit with you, and you accidentally find thousands, or in your case, because you have hundreds of millions of people watching and judging and commenting on every single thing that you do, you're likely to see tens of thousands of comments.
Yeah, and sometimes the algorithm can just be a butt and just send you all the hates and
Can just be a bitch, yeah.
one fell swoop. But also it's like you have to realize that when people are sending those messages, I mean, I was a crappy kid on the internet. I used to be a mean kid. People say those things because they're also struggling with things. My whole life I was struggling with my identity,
They can also be saying those things because they're insecure assholes that just like to spread pain. But yeah, Kris, you know, you have a very mature response to it all, I think.
I hated myself. Like, So every time I see one of those like hate comments or like people,
You know, some kids are just asshole bullies, but luckily Kris is mature enough to kind of rise above that.
people saying mean things in my DMs, I'm like, I know that's probably somebody who's going through something, and it doesn't really bother me. I used to see people living the life I wanted to live, and I would get jealous and angry at them. And like they get to live this life and they get to be celebrated, and you know, like obviously you don't see the hate they get, but it's like they're not getting any hate and all this kind of stuff, and you get into that mindset, but then you realize, oh, that's just me just like pointing all that back at myself and using somebody else as a target.
Do you feel like after coming out and feeling like you can actually be your truest identity, in addition to not having to hide something about yourself, do you feel like you're more aware and present? Like, do you feel like instead of living like through with tunnel vision because you're blocking out all of this shit that's in your brain, do you feel like now you have access to more of you?
I do. I post way too much on the internet because I'm just so excited to authentically be myself and be like, this is me. Hey, everybody. The person you knew for a long time, that was like a facade, a fake version of me. This is the real me. I'm still the same person.
Yeah, still the same person inside.
I just look a little different.
I mean, yeah, you're caring more about things, it seems.
Yeah.
You're caring about your fashion, your now makeup, your hair.
Well, yeah, because she's female presenting. So, yeah, and in the public eye. So that's like a double, you know, a double pressure, you know?
You know, you're caring about your health, it seems. Like, you just seem healthier all around.
Yeah. I'm drinking a lot more water, too.
Oh, okay, that'll do it.
That's everything. That's the secret to life.
The secret to life is water.
I mean, her skin is glowing, so it obviously must be the H2O.
Water?
Yeah.
Oh, and then I will poop more than once every 6 days?
Oh, you should definitely be doing that more.
Yeah. Okay, good to know. So here's a really quick fun fact. Did you know that hydrating is super important, even if you're not running
The sponsor.
a marathon? And if that's your first time hearing that, I need to have just a really quick word with the American education system. Liquid IV is the #1
Okay,
powdered
let's
hydration
skip
in America,
sponsor.
and now it's completely sugar-free. And yes, it does still hydrate you 2 times faster than water. You mentioned that you changed the spelling of your name?
Yeah.
From Kris,
With
CH
a
to Kris
CH.
to K?
With a K.
So just
As in, like, the Kris Jenner Kris.
to feel a little bit more feminine about it?
I actually have always liked how it looked with a K.
It is
And
cooler.
Apparently I didn't know this, and I'm probably going to crack a bunch of eggs in the audience.
Oh.
But if you have an online persona where you present as a different name and present as a female, that's just being trans online. You've been out as trans online. Like,
Wait, in what way?
like in the same way of like you've kind of came out, you haven't come out officially, but you came out in a space to where it was safe. People don't know who you actually are.
So you're like anonymously,
Yeah, you're kind of anonymously coming out as trans.
So is the Kris with a K an online only name? Do you have a separate name that you're using that is more feminine in your private life?
I have a name that is my official name. I'm not like sheltering it. It's like not private, locked away.
But you're not making a huge announcement
Not
about
making a
it?
huge.
Oh, right. So now she's got a feminine name that she plans to use in the future. I wonder if she's changed her name officially.
Huge announcement about it. It's just for like friends and families and stuff like that. But Kris, Kris, is what you can call me on the internet.
Are you gonna get angry when people use CH?
I don't really care. I mean, you can. It'll be wrong. So,
Right. Are you gonna feel like people are dead naming you, as they
no,
say?
I mean like in a
Right. So she is Kris, Kris. She/her pronouns.
way they're going to like try to use it to dead name me, but number one, I can't be audibly dead named, so that's pretty
True.
cool. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty big clutch. Number two, I mean, like I said, I have no shame with like who I was. I think it's so cool and interesting that it's like I was Kris with a CH, and then I put that to rest, and now I can finally be Kris with a K.
You have a permanent archive of who you were and your
Literally.
transitional period and who you are now.
Literally, it's kind of like the MrBeast channel was accidentally like my trans timeline.
It was a documentary about the transition.
Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah.
I was using him.
So you've changed the way you present, you've changed the name and the things that you prefer
Yep.
people to call you, you've changed your pronouns.
Yep.
Have you changed your voice? Because I know that that's something that trans people also work toward.
I am working on it. So currently I'm working with the Seattle Voice Labs. It's a Discord server where they offer free lessons, they offer paid lessons, but Claire, she is incredible. She's been teaching me, and she really pushed me to do a voice.
Like today? Yeah. She wanted you to do.
She thinks I'm ready to do like do a sentence.
Oh my God, is she gonna do it?
Just to give it a little sneak peek.
How interesting.
I could feel like myself by like presenting the way I wanted to, growing my hair out, but I would look back when I got,
Wow. I wonder if she's gonna do the voice.
because I'm a YouTuber, I get recorded a lot. I
Yeah.
would look back and I would be like, that's me. And then my voice, I would open my mouth and I'd be like, that's not me.
Do
You know,
want
you
to-
know what? Her voice isn't actually too bad. It isn't. Yeah, it's low, but I wouldn't say that it was that masculine, you know?
you say a sentence, or do you want to talk us through the different types of things that go into
Okay.
the voice?
Wow, this would be so interesting to hear.
I'm going to say a sentence, but I'll
Oh my God.
kind of also show you like the process I have to do.
Oh wow.
I think this will be the first time many people watching this will have ever seen the thought process behind it.
So I'm in a newer stage. I've only been going for a little bit. So it's
I wonder how long.
easier for me to find that space, that feminine voice, by doing a warm-up. It sounds goofy. Whenever I do it at home, I make sure all my doors are locked and nobody's...
Okay. How interesting.
So now you're gonna do it on
So
camera?
now I'm going to do it on camera in
Now
front of
there's millions of
everybody.
people watching.
I know, my voice...
Millions of people watching.
My voice instructor encouraged me. It won't sound perfect.
Okay, I'm very ready.
It probably will get picked on a little bit, but that's kind
Let's do this.
of what I like doing, is showing people the like real,
This is a process. Speech therapy can be extremely hard.
the rawness of it. You ready for the voice?
Oh, I'm so ready, Chris.
Ready? If you
Give it to me.
are.
Oh, God.
Oh my God. This is her feminine voice for the first time.
Gosh. We might have to do a couple of takes.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh my God.
Here goes.
Sure.
Are you ready, guys?
Hey, Anthony. Congratulations on buying Smosh.
Thank you.
That's great.
That was good. Thank you.
But you know, Chris's voice that she has now, it's not bad. Like, I feel like if she's on the phone, people may get confused and wonder if she's male or female. Like,
The most interesting part about seeing that is it felt like there was like a sparkle in your eye. Something
Yeah.
about it was like I could see this feeling of you feeling like yourself.
Yeah, and I really like showing the process of like how I get to there, because like I think for a lot of people, they don't want people to, you know, hear that process, and that's completely understandable. It's a very vulnerable space.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of work to even like get to yourself to the point
I can imagine.
where you can do that sometimes without feeling like, oh my God, like
Even by yourself.
I don't want anybody to hear me. It'll never sound right. But I want people to hear that, because it's like, that shows you that it's like, people will say, oh, you're faking your voice. No, I just slid my voice into the right place. Basically, it's like as I get better with it, I won't have to basically push my voice into that
Right.
place I want it to be.
You're training to get to the point where it feels natural.
It's a muscle, and like every muscle, the more you work it, the more you train it, it's
Yeah.
gonna break down, build back up, get stronger, and it's gonna become muscle memory to do those things.
Right. What are you looking forward to most now that you have...
Guys, Kris gives me like early 90s Jennifer Aniston vibes. That's what I'm getting from Kris.
fully come out as your truest identity? You feel confident in yourself. What's next, and what are you looking forward to?
It really feels like, for the first time, like I can do anything now. I can be who I want to be. Like, I can create a channel if I want to.
Ooh.
I can write a book if I want to.
Yes.
I can maybe produce a film if
Do you think Kris is going to go in a solo direction?
I want to.
Are these hints?
I don't know. Maybe. No. But maybe in the future.
But you really do have endless possibilities.
Exactly, because I'm finally able to be myself, and that spills out into other areas in my life. So it's not that I'm just authentically trans now. I'm authentically Kris in every single way. I'm able to articulate my feelings. I'm able to talk about what I want. So I feel like the future's kind of whatever I want it to be right now.
Do you feel more creatively driven now?
I do. I'm really excited.
It sounds like it. You know, I could see her going on her own, but staying faithfully with the MrBeast team, but going on her own and doing her own stuff and becoming a brand.
I've never felt the motivation to get in front of cameras like I do now.
Congratulations on everything, and I think that your story is incredibly inspiring, and I think you're going to change a lot of people's lives just by authentically being yourself in the face of hundreds of millions of opinions and thoughts.
Yeah, well, thank you, Anthony, and thank you for using your channel to give queer and trans people a safe place to talk about us and who we are, and just let us be ourselves. There's a lot of traditionally more feminine ways to speak. People used to tell me I did that a lot, and I got self-conscious about it, and I stopped.
Stop being yourself.
Stop it. Talk
Be
like a man.
more like men are.
Men talk
Yes.
straight.
Men talk straight.
Ooh.
Men talk slow. Men talk angry. Or men talk okay.
Yeah.
No,
Those are-
that was even too feminine.
Yeah, that was a little bit too feminine.
Yeah. Yeah, that
You
was.
were showing too much emotion.
Damn it!
Get out. But maybe in the future.
But you really do.
Okay, guys, that's the end of the video. So yeah, I really do see Kris coming into her own and becoming her own brand in the future, and I'll be following bits and pieces of her journey and maybe covering it on YouTube. I'm not sure yet. So that's the end of the vid. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.